We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Sydney Mardi Gras leaders face backlash after rejecting calls to center trans rights, with activists condemning the move as a retreat.
The LGBTQ Sports Hall of Fame honors its 2026 class, celebrating trailblazers whose courage and advocacy reshaped inclusion across sports. Names include Billie Jean King and Jason Collins.
A Florida teen experiences reveal persistent HIV-phobia in gay dating, urging Broward County communities to align culture with science today.
A once-banned trans-led Joker parody now streams free, blending queer identity, sharp satire, and superhero mythology, with a 96% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Netflix canceled Boots despite high viewership, sparking debate over costs, strike delays, reshoots, and possible political backlash. All this important LGBTQ+ news and more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 11 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice and our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It's Thursday, January 22nd. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a non-profit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community. Our non-profit mission is to educate the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate key issues of lesbians, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Hotspots Happening Out is a proud beneficiary of the 2026 Florida AIDS Walk. Standing strong by our healthcare pillar, funds raised are matched dollar for dollar in support of our HIV policy reform and educational programs, including our MSN conference. We invite you to donate and join us on March 21st to walk in support of the Hotspots Happening Out teams.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fest. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voices as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Dr. Bobby Huen. A world traveler and well-versed in global affairs, Bobby provides an international perspective on current events. A PhD in conflict resolution, Bobby is a certified civil and family mediator and the founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. Welcome to the show, Bobby.
Thank you, Cindy. How are you? And well, have a very happy Thursday, and I hope that everyone will be enjoying the upcoming weekend.
Let's welcome anchor Von Biggs. He's a community engagement and outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health, a vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council, and a board member of Trans Ed and Harmony Waves. Vaughn, Opa, Miami Greek Festival returns for its 44th year on January 30th. Tell me, what's happening out?
That's right, Cindy. Thank you. The iconic Miami Greek Festival returns for its 44th year, celebrating Greek culture, cuisine, and community. January 30th through February 1st at St. Andrew Greek Orthodox Church. Hosted annually by the church, the festival invites South Florida to be Greek for the weekend with authentic food, pastries, live music, traditional dancing, church tours, shopping, and family-friendly activities. Leading this year's celebration is Dr. Jason Sievers of Holy Cross Medical Group, a respected physician, LGBTQ advocate, and president of the Parish Council at St. Andrews. More info is available at MiamiGreekFestival.com. You know, I'm very excited about this one. You know, Dr. Sievers is, I consider my best friend, and I love what we do in the community. He's done this for a number of years, being the president of the parish, been in charge of this, has a very large team of people that it's not an easy thing to pull off, I'm sure, at all. But they were able to get a discount code. So anybody who orders their tickets online, you can't do this at the door. Online, you use Queer News MGF which is on the flyer there, and you can get in for free. Otherwise, you pay at the door. So if you don't register online, you're paying at the door.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I've been to Greek festivals before, and the food and the music and the dancing, it's just, you know, it's definitely a fun day. And they're obviously LGBTQ friendly.
Yeah.
So that's more of a reason to attend this festival.
That's right.
Oh, definitely. Vaughn, you always have the best events that you always are talking about. If it's not this, it's like food on Broadway. It just sounds like another amazing event.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And this is in Miami. Good for me. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at OPA Miami Greek Festival on January 30th. Let's welcome anchor Alex Morash. Alex has served as editor-in-chief of Options Magazine, media director of the National LGBTQ Task Force, and press secretary for the Florida Democratic Party. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you for having me, Sydney. You know, I don't know what anyone else is doing this weekend, but who else is going to Hollywood Pride? All right, I can't wait to go. Right?
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be a fun time this Saturday, you know. Are you coming with me? Am I dragging it? All right, well, for our potential stalkers, all four of you, you can see us at Hollywood Pride Saturday.
And remember, this year's event is going to be at the Giant Arts Park in the middle of the giant roundabout.
Oh, nice.
Young Circle.
That's why I'm bringing you, because I won't know where to go.
Well, you have to. And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Cindy Brown. Cindy has been an activist for the LGBTQ plus community for 35 years, working for or serving on many local nonprofit boards. She served as the founding executive director of Miami Beach Pride and currently sits on the LGBTQIA advisory board for Miami-Dade County. She also runs her own consulting company, Synergy, for nonprofits helping with finance, strategic planning, board structure, grants, and more. Cindy Sage is hosting a brunch with the new CEO, Lynn Faria, on February 8th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, yes, as we all know, Sage's CEO for many, many years, Michael Adams, recently stepped down, and change is happening at Sage. And the Miami community is invited to be a part of it. On Sunday, February 8th, from 11:30 to 1:30, Sage USA will host an intimate brunch meet and greet welcoming Lynn Faria, she, her pronouns, who is Sage's new CEO. Guests will hear directly from Lynn about Sage's vision for the future and connect with fellow supporters at Yaya Coastal Cuisine, a local lesbian-owned restaurant in Miami. The event will also recognize members of Sage National Leadership Team Council. You need to register in advance in order to attend this brunch at sageusa.org. I love Sage. I've been a supporter for a long time. I've known Lynn. She has worked for the agency, and I'm so glad they elevated her to the position of CEO. And I really am looking forward to this brunch to hear what she has to say.
Thanks.
As a senior myself, it's all very relevant.
Thanks to medical advancements, we're all getting older. I mean, we're not dropping dead in our 40s anymore, right. and SAGE's just role is going to increase in our community. Well, we also need to learn to respect our elders.
Well, it's not just, it's already a very important group, not just here, but national. Like even when I was managing Options magazine, like the local SAGE chapter, they were some of our most important like interviews and seeing what they were doing in the community. They're doing stuff all over the country.
Yeah, and the senior LGBT community has largely been invisible because nobody pays attention to seniors. And, when you're out and about in the LGBT community, you don't think of the seniors who are living on an $800 a month Social Security check, or seniors who don't go out because they've lost their beloved partner of 50 years and they just can't get out of the house. So, things like that, as well as SAGE's advocacy in DC, as well as in state legislatures. Yeah, we gotta support SAGE.
What I'm excited for is, we're obviously facing a lot of problems in our country, right? And healthcare, all the issues that's happening across the country, but the fact also of a change in leadership sometimes it's a great thing to see, especially someone who's been there already, and to see a new vision change in an organization and how they're going to continue to progress to take care of the aging community. Because, as you said, Bobby, we are living longer. Yeah. And a lot of us are a lot healthier because we're actually in medical care. We're seeking medical care. And because of that, it's assisting us to live longer. And that's a great thing.
Yeah. I'm Cindy Brown, and let's queer up the world view. Sydney Mardi Gras faces backlash over refusal to center trans rights in 2026. Organizers of the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras are facing sharp criticism after refusing to support a motion to make trans rights the focus of the 2026 event. At its annual general meeting last November, the Mardi Gras board rejected member resolutions, including one titled "Embrace Trans Rights, Not Trump," which called specifically for parade floats to actively support trans and non-binary communities and condemn U.S. President Donald Trump. In a statement released Tuesday, the board said adopting the resolutions would restrict creative direction and conflict with standard processes, adding, "The decision was made to align with Mardi Gras' values, strategic priorities, and long-term sustainability." A spokesperson said, quote, "Mardi Gras stands proudly with transgender and gender-diverse communities. We are and always will be a visible, active ally," end quote. While arguing the board must respect the independence and diversity of parade participants, activists strongly disagreed. Evan Gray of Pride in Protest accused the board of attacking trans people by framing them as intimidating and their rights as an imposition. Former board member Charlie Murphy called it a, quote, "deliberate choice to abandon the trans community politically," end quote. Critics say the decision signals a troubling retreat from political advocacy at a pivotal moment for trans rights globally. Now, I was the first director of Miami Beach Pride, so I have a little bit of insight as to being the director of a Pride event and the activities of the participants in the parade. I support Sydney Mardi Gras' decision specifically because I don't feel it's appropriate for them to tell everybody that's in the parade that they must center trans and condemn Trump. I imagine many of them will probably do that anyway, but I understand where the board is coming from. I will take them at their word that they will have trans and gender nonconforming communities very visible at Pride. They're very supportive. But it's a tough call, and there has to be some kind of consensus there.
That is the way of looking at it. As someone who, the first piece I ever wrote in The Advocate was criticizing Capital Pride, and the International Pride group actually criticized me for, which I was very proud of upsetting them. But whether or not this should be the exact theme, I think the problem with this Pride Committee and many others is there's a lack of legitimacy in their decision making. It's the board, not the community, that makes the decision. So maybe this should be the thing. Maybe it should be something else. But when it's a small group of people that do it and not the entire community having a say on it, it's hard to do. At options, sometimes we get criticized for our options awards of who wins. But everybody in the community that wants to vote can vote in it. So if you have a problem with the community, not with us, and that creates a little bit of legitimacy in that sort of thing. But also, for better or worse, trust the LGBTQ community. Don't just decide as a board what to do for things like this, because otherwise you're going to get way more participation and engagement anyway by letting it. But that's not just the Pride. The whole LGBTQ advocacy space has been facing this for a while, and they're random people with some money get to do something. That's great, but what does the community actually want? And knowing my luck, they'll just vote to make the Barbie and Ken Pride theme or something. Who knows?
And I have to say, boards have a responsibility. And while we could sit back and disagree or don't agree with their minutes that they post or anything like that, they ultimately have a responsibility. And when you add in that second half about, disrespecting a leader of another country, I mean, there could be political blowback on that they may not be willing to realize could happen. And I just feel like that could be another reason of saying, hold the horses here. We can't, because if you open that up for hate, you open that up for, okay, let's have giant, pillars of fire and him on it or something like that. And that's
Don't
not
give me good ideas, Vaughn.
but you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just the kind of that's where they would take it if they were given that permission. And by saying that, you're giving them that permission to do that.
And plus, I mean, I know that Alex will give me daggers for this one, is that, the board has to consider sponsors and funding. I mean, burning effigies of Trump is not going
Which technically
it's not going to attract a lot of funding.
Nothing in the story said anyone's going to do that.
No,
do be careful.
But to enforce every flow must condemn Trump rule is very narrow. It's got the scope just narrowed too badly. On the other hand, I was going to say, with Australia, what is with their nonprofit events recently? They have a major book event that got cancelled because the board decided to uninvite a Palestinian Australian author who wrote a novel, and the board is oh no, that's going to be too controversial after the Bondi Beach shooting. And then suddenly all of them dropped out. The board had to grovel, apologize, and now the entire festival has been shut down. So, are we, while these are, so what's with Australia and lately with the
I don't think it's just an issue with Australia. I think that there is, I've sat on many boards, and I've sat on boards that got into trouble. And, I think that there is a legal and fiduciary responsibility if you sit on a board. If you do something that could damage the board, that is a violation of your board service. And I think the bottom line is there is a lot more to this than we actually know. Are all parade participants literally required to have this in their contingent? That's the part that I am off-put by.
Well, here's a question. So one of the many, I definitely prefer the membership and the community to sign, but they could always have just said, make it more trans focused and not talk about Trump. Even though I would say, I understand why people are probably going to go in that direction, because it's getting really hard not to understand that Trump is not normal and that you are dealing with an Adolf Hitler level event in this country. There's an article I was just reading in Minnesota, where it's just getting beyond insanity. There was a medical facility got surrounded by ICE, so they had to hide a woman in labor and her family in an attic. I don't think, like, if we're going to talk this much about Trump, like, you have to understand that we're not talking about a normal president. We're not talking about a normal he's threatening Canada, Greenland, and I can't even name half the countries he's upset with this week. I don't know who's upset with next week.
No, today he's at Davos. He'll be upset with all of
Oh,
Europe.
yeah,
It's not normal, but, like, to sidebar that for a second,
Right.
the board could have always tried to find another focused way of doing
just
this.
Take Trump completely out of the equation. And, that's why I say, it's a shame they couldn't come to a more consensus, but I think just like this country, it's either this or it's that, and there's no in between. Right. And I think that we have to be willing to look at some in between at this point. And
I'm Bobby Huen, and let's queer up gay culture. LGBTQ Sports Hall of Fame names Class of 2026 honors Billie Jean King and Jason Collins. The LGBTQ Sports Hall of Fame has announced its Class of 2026, honoring 10 trailblazing figures whose impact spans athletics, media, and advocacy. Alongside the new inductees, tennis icon Billie Jean King and former NBA player Jason Collins will receive the Glenn Burke Award, recognizing those whose courage and authenticity have transformed the sports landscape. Established in 2013, the Hall of Fame celebrates the global contributions of queer people in sports. Chair Scott Bova said the honorees represents the heart of that mission. Bova said, quote, "Their contributions to sports and advocacy have paved the way for greater inclusion and have inspired countless athletes and fans worldwide. We are honored to recognize their legacy." End quote. The 2026 class includes All-American Girls Professional Baseball League player Maribel Blair and Olympian Nikki Hiltz, a trans and non-binary distance runner advocating for inclusion in track and field. Also inducted are NBA referee Bill Kennedy, rugby star Phaedra Knight, educator and coach Anthony Nicodemo, and more. Together, the class reflects decades of courage, excellence, and visibility across American sports. The only thing I'm surprised is that Billie Jean King is
not already there.
Yeah,
right?
not already there. I mean, she's an icon,
right?
Like, quite literally.
Yeah, and I think that over the past 10 years or so, athletes have felt support of their peers in coming out, whereas 20 years ago, I remember when Dave Kopay first came out as a football player in the 90s, and it was like huge news. I mean, he wasn't like a star football player, but it was big news. And because, those football players patting each other on the butt all the time. And he did face some challenges from his teammates and opponents.
I mean, the progress is steady, but still excruciatingly slow. I mean, we have had Michael Sam from college football. We have at least Carr Nassim, who is on the Vegas team. But every time there's some progress, there's always backlash. For example, NHL banning Pride tape, and having players who do not support Pride nights is coming up as an issue. And of course, now there's that Canadian hockey show, which apparently has inspired quite a few people to come out of the closet. So good for them. And I think we are heading in the right direction, just at a snail's pace.
Well, I can just say that I've learned so much more about sports in this last few minutes than in the last year.
Well, I'm the lesbian, so I guess I should know the most about sports. Well, I know some.
I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up health. HIV-Phobia in gay dating, a national issue hitting close to home in Broward County. Tonight we turn to a painful reality resurfacing across LGBTQ+ dating spaces, HIV-Phobia. A recent article in the 19th.com by Sam Dondelinger shows how stigma still shapes gay dating culture in 2026. Despite decades of medical progress, the article centers on a 19-year-old Cody Nestor from nearby Hollywood, Florida. When Cody discloses his HIV status on dating apps, he is often met with cruelty. Some of the messages he received read, "You're disgusting. I don't know why you're on here," or "Why don't you die?" or "You'll never get anything in your life." He is then blocked. He then informs that 95% of the people respond that way. Cody says, quote, "People could at least be more aware, ask questions, and understand the reality of living with HIV instead of attacking us," end quote. Experts say this fear isn't scientific. Xavier Urgina of USCF explains, quote, "The fear comes from antiquated ideas around HIV. People haven't caught up," end quote. The science is clear. Undetectable equals untransmittable, a message long championed by Broward County organizations, yet stigma persists. As Cody puts it, it's, quote, "It's like you're a whitefish in a school of blackfish. You're immediately the odd one out," end quote. For Broward County, this story is a call to ensure dating culture finally catches up to science. You know, it's interesting. I actually did an abstract presentation at USCHA this last year on intergenerational dating online with the absent disclosure of HIV. So this, you know, there was a lot of discussions about that, and that stigma still persists. I know for me, I've been on the dating apps. I've been attacked that way as well when you disclose statuses. So it's just, it's discerning because nobody listens. They don't really care to know. I think we've talked about, you get the keyboard bullies, you know, they see something and they don't know. But it's like, you know, the people that do disclose it, I'm happy they do, because the more people they can do it, the more people they can talk about it and put the messaging in your app that about you equals you and what that means. I've talked to many people who are actually very thankful that they gathered that information by meeting somebody, you know.
I would say that on these dating apps, though, people who would respond that way, first of all, they are bullies.
Yeah.
And second of all, you don't want to date them anyway.
Right.
And I think that those who respond positively, they're doing it with, you know, full knowledge, and it's better to have people know. It's really hard to turn off those negative comments. Just delete, block, block.
Right.
And you know, the people who you don't want in your life will show you that you don't want them in your life. And there are plenty of people. I mean, for the 19-year-old, for Cody, you know, I'm sorry that people say these things to you, because they're just bullies, and they do not know. But you know now who you do not want in your life.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, also that on the dating app, you never know who you're talking to. There are a lot of people who are on the down low who was a part of that culture where the internalized homophobia is extremely fierce. I mean, I live in Wilton Manor, so everyone, pretty much everyone that I know know what you equals you means, you know, knows the value of PAP or the PrEP or, you know, doxy. Those knowledge need to be much more widespread. And also, I commiserate as an Asian on the apps. I don't get any much luck either. You know, you get a lot of negative stereotypes, and more than that, a lot of racism out there too.
Yes.
Like what I say this with love, Bobby. We cannot assume that the entire Wilton Manors community is going to behave themselves on dating apps without HIV status.
No.
And also, like, yes, the racism and bigotry within the gay male community is absolutely disgusting. And, you know, when it comes to things like HIV status and dating, like when I was still in my dating years, but like, I actually do not care if a guy discloses his HIV status to me at first. Because first and foremost, like, getting to know someone, whether you want to hook up with them or just go on a date, like, knowing that I have no right to know your medical history, first and foremost. Secondly, yes, undetectable is untransmissible. But, like, if you're only going to interact with someone because you think you're definitely not going to get, like, a disease from them, like, you should really have a look at the mirror of who the heck you are as a human being. Like, you get to know people, try to fall in love with people. And, like, if you're that worried about, you know, there are these things still called condoms and PrEP. They still exist if you're that worried when meeting a boy. And you know, some of the nicest, sweetest boys I've met were very shy about telling me their stats. I was like, what are you talking about? You're attractive. We're like, we're not going to do it. We'll use protection. Don't worry about it, you know? Right. And unfortunately, too many guys have that attitude. And they get over yourself, guys. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up gay culture. Once banned, now streaming, trans cult hit The People's Joker arrives free. An infamous genre-bending comic book parody embraced by trans and queer audiences is finally streaming, and it's free. The People's Joker, the legally precarious fan film inspired by DC's iconic villain, is now available on Tubi and Mubi, nearly 3 years after it was controversially banned. The movie currently holds a 96% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, and creator Vera Drew, who stars, directs, and co-wrote the film, shared the news in an Instagram video yesterday. The film follows an unfunny, aspiring clown who numbs herself with a fictional drug called Simlex before embracing her identity and transforming into the Joker the Harlequin, defying Gotham's anti-comedy laws. Pulled from TIFF in 2022 after legal pressure from DC and Warner Brothers, the ban sparked the global Free the People's Joker movement. Since then, the film has screened at Outfest, been released on Blu-ray and VHS, and earned critical praise, including Richard Brody calling it the best superhero movie he's ever seen. The People's Joker is now streaming on Tubi and Mubi in North America. Well, first off, you got trans Joker, and I'm already sold. I tend to be, you know, the type that likes the Joker in general. I always get a kick out of that. Like, whenever you see the Joker in the anime, do you want to know who voices him most of the time? Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's funny.
And they always do. I love when they do very, like, anarcho-commie Joker. I'm always hardcore anarcho-commie Joker myself. What about you?
Well, of course you love chaos. You are chaos. But I love the idea that, you know, there are some queer creators out there who are making queer coded things with pop culture artifacts that is not just a big corporation sliding in some minor character and calling it gay and calling it a day Disney.
Yeah, I love this whole, you know, fan fiction as well. It allows you to see characters in different ways. And I had never heard of The People's Joker, but I have
try
Tubi,
to look at it.
So I'm going to go and check it out.
I want to know where I can get the VHS.
Oh, the VHS.
I know.
I thought that.
I know.
That's the VHS player.
That's the surprising part. Like
Yeah.
Right. But Bobby does bring up a very good point that I want. Just the huge difference between queer art and queer-inspired art and, like, straight, like, heteronormative white supremacists, what they think diversity is. I'm not going to name names, Bob Iger, but you know.
Yes. Well, I'm Cindy Brown, and let's queer up entertainment. Netflix data raises new questions after cancellation of queer favorite Boots. Fans are still asking why Netflix canceled Boots, and new data only deepens the mystery. Netflix's latest engagement report, covering July through December of 2025, shows Boots ranked as the platform's 23rd most watched TV series, with 30.7 million hours viewed. That performance outpaced several shows that were renewed, including The Witcher Season 4, The Diplomat Season 3, and Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black Season 2. It also narrowly beat Nobody Wants This Season 2, which premiered the same month, had more episodes, slightly fewer viewers, and was still renewed for a third season. Another queer-centered series, The Hunting Wives, posted nearly identical numbers and earned a second season. Industry reporting suggests costs may have played a role. Boots faced long delays from the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, plus story changes that led to reshoots and rising expenses. Political speculation has also surfaced after a Pentagon official reportedly dismissed the show as woke garbage, though no direct link has been established. This is a real mystery because it was a very popular show, and even though they're claiming that politics had nothing to do with it. I find that really hard to believe. I think
politics might have been the nudge, but I think cost for Netflix, everything is about cost and engagement. And if it was delayed because of the writer's strike,
those things are over.
Yeah, those things are over now.
They're over, so it's not going to reflect the cost moving forward. They had 30.7 million hours viewed. That is significant.
Pentagon disapproval is actually more serious in the movie industry than people realize. Where do you think all the movies get their free tanks and crap from? The military will donate it if they feel the content is good propaganda for the American empire.
That's a good point.
It's also where Netflix is going down that shitification route. Where we all remember when it was shitification, where a company starts off great and then gets crap. Do you remember Netflix used to have great queer stuff 5-10 years ago, and because we're easy to entice as the first customer, but now they feel like they don't need us. So it's
like all media outlets, they always find the queer folks first and turn us into fans, and then abandon us when they have mainstream success. This is not new.
Yeah. Well, hopefully something will happen there. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up lesbian and queer culture. Lesbian dating app Her goes viral with cheeky bowling ball billboard. As part of its New Year push, the Sapphic Restart, Her rolled out billboards across New York and Los Angeles with the tagline, quote, "Everything reminds me of her," end quote. The ads feature sensual innuendo-filled imagery, including fingers slipping into a bowling ball and champagne cascading over skin. Viewers praised the campaign's wit with comments like, "Get that marketing team a raise," while others shared they met their partners on Her. Wow, I'll have to check it out. I am single. You hear that, everyone? I'm single. And I think that's great, the campaign.
I love a great marketing campaign. There are so many ways I think that things can be done, and just the innuendos themselves. Yeah. I mean, that's what true marketing, if you think back old school marketing, it was like, you had to think about it, and I love that. I love seeing that. That's awesome.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. WNBA star Angel Reese joins Hunting Wives Season 2. WNBA star Angel Reese is headed to Netflix. Reese joins the Hunting Wives Season 2 as Trainer Barbie, a name nodding to her nicknames Bayou Barbie and Shy Barbie. The two-time WNBA All-Star lands a co-starring role on the viral series known for steamy sapphic scenes between Brittany Snow and Marlon Ackerman. Season 2 finds Sophie and Margot fractured. John Stamos and others also join. Production is underway. Release is set for 2027. Well, another sapphic news item today.
Well, I'm going to be watching Hunting Wives for sure.
I have no idea what it is at all. But then I am pop culturally blind, pretty much.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Nature confirms queer life is natural. Can you say gay apes? A new study in Nature Ecology and the Evolution is reshaping how we understand sexual diversity in nature. Scientists analyzed 491 primate species and confirmed same-sex sexual behavior in 59. The research found that it appears more often in harsh environments and complex social systems. The findings describe same-sex behavior as a natural response that strengthens bonds, reduces tension, and supports cooperation. It is not an evolutionary mistake. As political voices claim queer lives are unnatural, science says otherwise. Sexual diversity is ancient, widespread, and tied to survival. For our community, this is a powerful validation. I think this is just great because when they talk about political changes and climate changes and things like that, I'm like going, yeah.
Some things don't change.
Some things work for, it's the same for us. So, yeah.
Well, the politicians calling us unnatural, news at 11. But
well, this shows it's clearly natural.
The same politicians who told us that, being gay is unnatural are also the ones who don't believe in evolution.
Yeah.
Or biological facts, or science, or any of it.
Bob, the moral of this story is when I see my two little boy dogs decide to weirdly hump each other randomly, I now know it's just nature.
Right, of course. And it is.
He has cute dogs.
Oh.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up lesbian and queer women. Chloe Grace Moretz past praise for Victoria Beckham resurfaces amid family feud. As the Beckham family feud continues to grip the internet, past remarks from Brooklyn Beckham's ex, Chloe Grace Moretz, are resurfacing. The renewed interest follows a recent Instagram post in which Brooklyn accused his parents of multiple flights. Amid fans searching for clues, Moretz's 2014 Watch What Happens Live interview has reemerged. Chloe Grace Moretz dated Brooklyn from 2014 to 2018. Speaking on Watch What Happens Live in 2014, she praised Victoria Beckham, saying, quote, "She's an amazing person. As a family, they're awesome," end quote. She later added that David and Victoria genuinely are very good parents. And for those that want to know what the heck we're talking about, because I did not hear this feud. First, so Brooklyn Beckham is the Beckhams, one of their many children. He and his wife are complaining about his parents, and just so you know how spoiled these two are, besides the fact that one of them is literally the son of David and Victoria Beckham, the wife is father's worth $1.6 billion. And, he's 26 complaining that, his whole life his parents control him. Like, yeah, your parents do tell you what you do under the, as a child. You've been a child most of your life. Oh, and apparently, so you want to know how absolutely entitled Nepo babies these two are. They first met in 2017 in Coachella, little, and then they did, but then 2 years later is when they really reconnected at a minor shindig, also known as Leonardo DiCaprio's Halloween party. So spoiled brats are spoiled brats.
It just goes to show, don't give your kids everything, because if you do, you create entitlement. I'm just saying.
As someone who grew up with a privileged family who is extremely toxic, you never know how toxic people are from the inside. And so I tend to believe what Brooklyn says.
How many Leonardo DiCaprio parties have you been to?
None. But the point, the point is, you never know. You never know how toxic or abusive a family is just from the outside.
Crazy rich white people problems.
Crazy rich Asian also has problems.
Well, these are white people.
Yeah.
LGBTQ, 1 minute news. Let's queer up the worldview. Egged, not shaken. York's "This Shop Is So Gay" responds with pride. A York, England shop celebrating queer joy is responding with humor after being targeted by vandals. This shop is so gay, run by siblings Xander and Claire, was egged this week. Claire posted a video saying, quote, "Eggs are expensive. Throwing one at a shop window is a choice. And if your enemy is a shop window, you've already lost. Anyway, we're still extremely gay. Come on in," end quote. The post drew thousands of supportive, laughing comments with fans praising the shop's unapologetic pride. I just love this. And, although the price of eggs has calmed down, they're still expensive. And
no, it's Britain, so we don't know how much eggs cost over there. But, still, stop throwing eggs. Eggs are delicious. Eat them, not throw them.
I don't care. Everyone should try getting pegged once. Oh, wait, we're talking about eggs. I'm so sorry. Never mind.
Oh, my Lord, Alex.
Oh, this is so gay.
Yes. I want to go to that store.
Exactly, yeah.
I totally do. I think it looks fantastic. Well, these are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Cindy Brown, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, Dr. Bobby Huen, Vaughn Biggs, Alex Morash. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we wish you a good night.
Good night.